Hello, people of the internet! It is time for another film review by yours truly. This week we will be looking at...
Emma, you have a minute?
Hello Marcy. I'm kinda in the middle of filming my next vlog for YouTube. Can it wait?
Digital divides? Sounds kind of important.
Alright. You have a point. Come on. Hello again, people of the internet. I am here with my good friend Marcy. And she had a big old question that she so kindly pointed out to me might be more worth our time than what I had originally planned on talking about.
Yeah, so I came across this article called Bridging the Digital Divide. I know what a divide is, but how do you divide up something that's digital in the first place?
Right, so digital divides, big topic. Let me try to divide up a bit. Alright, so originally the digital divide was posed as a problem of access to technology, where some people have it and others don't. But realistically, there are multiple divides. One's access to technology, or more specifically in the case of the article that you were talking about, the internet, is dependent on multiple factors. Your age, your race, your location, both nationally and globally, social class, things like that. Then people who fall into these categories still will take up the internet in different ways. Are you following?
Kinda. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's look at disability divides. There's this awesome author, Elizabeth Elsesser, who really dives deep into this topic. She notes that there is the MEDIC model, where disability is seen as a clinical impairment, individual tragedy, or the responsibility of the individual. So because it's an individual tragedy, the solutions are also geared toward an individual level of focus. Have you ever seen the film Avatar? The one with the blue people? They're making a sequel? You're not missing much. Anyway, that movie, when they try to fix the guy's legs, that's just one example of the MEDIC model. So that's one model that Elsesser mentions. The other one is the social model. In the social model, disability is seen as a social and cultural construct. Because society is unprepared for disabilities, it is the only place where they're actually disempowering. For example, stairs, use them all the time. They actively construct disability because they impair anyone who's unable to walk on them. Remedies like elevators or ramps then are created as a byproduct for accommodating the disabled. So Elsesser proposes solutions for this disability digital divide, like universal design, for example.
I've been to Universal before. I saw some famous people and went on lots of rides, and it was so hot out that we almost...
No, Marcy, that's Universal Studios. A little different. Universal design, as Elsesser points out, erases the idea that accommodation should be a first resort, and instead believes in creating and designing products for not just a specific person, but for the most users possible. And the cool part is sometimes these objects that are created work for people beyond those who are disabled. Just last week, I was lugging around all of this camera equipment for this documentary that I'm working on. I was struggling to get through the doors when I used my elbow, pushed the handicap button, and the doors, automatically swing open. Not what it's originally intended or designed for, but works just as well. So AI assistants and Siri are really good examples of trying to reach that concept of universal design, but it's really important to not get sucked up in the utopian idea that these things will solve all of our problems and help every user. That's why Elsesser asks us to look at disability as a form of human variation and to never assume homogeneity just because a group of people share traits. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but disability is just one factor of digital divides, right? You mentioned others like social class and race.
Social class and race. So let's look at race. This other author, Lisa Nakamura, has published articles on how race affects users' experiences online in various ways. Take, for example, this thing known as gift, and not the presents you get at Christmas or your birthday. It's different. It stands for Greater Internet Theory. And basically it says that anonymity provided online acts as a cover for racist acts that people otherwise cannot help but to indulge in when given these affordances. But this is pretty technologically deterministic in that it marks racism as an effect of the internet. Nakamura says instead of looking at it this way, to instead consider something known as glitch racism. Do you know what a glitch is?
Like Penelope in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes! Exactly like that. So instead of people thinking online racism is some sort of glitch in the system that occurs once in a while, What if we treated it as part of the signal, giving it as much intense consideration as we do with the rest of the content we see online? Because the reality is, people can't leave their personal identities out of their internet use. Sites like Stuff White People Like, or the idea of Black Twitter, show divides amongst digital users every day.
There's so much I didn't know before. Thanks for your help. So what film review are you working
Well, I
on?
was about to review Bohemian Rhapsody.
Never heard of it. But one of the comments of that article you just helped me debunk mentioned something about ARPANET?
That's definitely a video for another time, my friend. And with that being said, time for us to leave. Tune in again next week when I will hopefully be reviewing Bohemian Rhapsody or something else, or talking about ARPANET. The opportunities are endless. Who knows? Bye.